And I hate talking about myself, so this is gonna be great.
It's gonna be the best.
Yeah, so I started honestly athletics when I was young. I was a swimmer first, so I'd be at the pool crazy early every morning, just working. I was with TPDC, which is out of Tacoma Park, and then DCRP, and we were out in like the Shaw area using the pools and stuff there. And then my mom would drop my brother and I off. He'd be on the outdoor basketball courts, I'd be in the pool. Then I'd come out, he'd make me rebound for him, and then I just kind of picked up things that way. It's crazy, like just being around the game and just watching it, how many things you pick up. And one day I was rebounding for him, and he was like, "Man, swimmers don't make money. You need to play basketball." And I was like, "Okay, so you're big brother. You just do anything he says." So I still swam for a little bit longer, and then I kind of started focusing on basketball a little bit more. And then I kind of jumped on the AAU circuit with Lady Panthers when I was in like 5th or 6th grade. And I was with them for a couple years, and we did which is, I don't even know if they still have it, like junior nationals and nationals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they have it anymore, but we play in nationals. And, at that time you were nice. Like if you finished like top 10. So at that time, everybody's trying to go to nationals. You got to qualify first. And then there's no other way to get in if you don't qualify in junior nationals. So you got to qualify, then you get to nationals, and then obviously you try and win it. And so that was kind of the grind there until I was introduced to like Fairfax Stars. And so Marissa Coleman played with me on the Lady Panthers for a little bit. Then she went to Fairfax. And then I think the next year I followed her to Fairfax. And Riss and I were really, really, really good friends. Like every weekend, if I wasn't at her house, she was at my house. Like she's family to me. And, we would just play basketball all the time. I had a hoop in the backyard. She had a hoop in the driveway, and we were just always hooping all the time. And, that Fairfax team was crazy. I think we had 6 Division I players, like high level D1 players. So we had like Riss went to Maryland, won a championship there. We had Brittany Mitch. She was like a 6'2" point guard. I've never seen anything like it. She was a 6'2" point guard. She was stealing passes. She was getting deflections and stealing passes when her guy was passing the ball. Like I had never seen, like normally, like you shoot the gap, you know what I'm saying? You jump the passing lane. She was taking it out of Cat's hands. So she went to Duke. We had Laura Haskins went to Virginia Tech. We had Abby. She went to UVA. We had Kendra went to Marshall. Like it was insane. And that's probably one of my favorite AAU teams because we practiced a lot more then, but we gelled really quickly. And it was always a lot of fun. The ball would just move. Anybody could go for 20, 30 every night. But it didn't matter.
That's the best.
It didn't matter. The ball was just moving and we were like legit having fun. So then you go you could kind of hit the Nike circle a little bit. So you go to Oregon, end of the trail. And that was everybody's favorite because you got the Nike factory out there.
Oh yeah.
And then go back to junior nationals in DC, and then Nike nationals was next year. But after Fairfax, I always played up. So it was kind of like after that Fairfax year, I was like, okay, I don't know who I'm going to play for next year. And then Boo Williams and Coach Eric would come to every single one of my Good Counsel games and introduce herself to my mom and my dad and like, hey, we want her to play. And at the time, Boo's sister was the coach at Georgetown. I think the statute of limitations is up. I don't know if this is but Boo's sister was the head coach at Georgetown. So we practiced one weekend down in Virginia Beach or Hampton, and then the other weekend would be in Georgetown. So that was pretty easy. And I got to playing with them, and that squad was ridiculous. So we had Monica Wright. She all met, was out of Woodbridge, Virginia. She went to UVA, All-American, drafted, I think 3 or 4 by the Minnesota Lynx. Lynetta Kaiser went to Maryland. She was drafted as well, I think, to Indy. Tierra Ruffin-Pratt, UNC. Kim Rogers, she went to Maryland. She was one of the best shooters I've ever seen. The injury kind of derailed her career, but she barely missed. It was insane. Like her jumper was insane. And we just had a bunch of Division I, high Division I athletes. And then of course you coached by the legend Boo. So
Right.
It kind of doesn't get better than that. So obviously in there I went to good counsel. I don't know if you want to know about good counsel years, but
Oh yeah.
okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I gotta back up because I want to know ages here. So what age were you when your brother first made the switch?
Oof, man,
From
probably
swimming?
like, maybe like third grade,
Oh, okay. Okay.
third or fourth grade.
So then you start playing AAU.
I didn't start playing AU till sixth grade.
Sixth grade. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you get into good counsel? Were you going like K through 12?
Nah, so good counsel is only high school. So
Yeah.
I wanted to go to, so St. John's is like 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to St. John's. And Marissa was at St. John's, Brittany Mitch was at St. John's, and I was like, I'm definitely going to St. John's. Okay. And my parents are Jamaican, and they were like, no, you're not going to focus on academics. Like, you're going to be focused on basketball and your friends. You're not going. And I was like heartbroken. So I'm like, I definitely don't want to go to good counsel because I go to watch a game. I go to watch Risk play. They beat good counsel by 40. It was 85-45. I was like, yeah, I'm not playing for those bums. Fall comes. I'm at good counsel.
Let's go.
But honestly, it was the best decision. It was the best thing that could happen for me because you got to grow up a lot quicker. You got to learn to be a leader. And I definitely didn't handle it well, especially freshman year, because we were losing a lot, not used to losing. I mean, we still had a winning record, but I'm almost 500. Like, like that's the worst. So I just didn't handle it well. After every game we lost, I'm transferring. I'm this, I'm that. And my parents are like, absolutely not. Like, this is not how we operate. This is not how you're going to operate. And I'm glad they did it because I had to learn to grow up really quickly. And I think it kind of helped me become the leader that I am today. And like I said, we had some tough times. I think I went 0 for 9 against St. John's until
Yikes.
the semifinals of the WCAC my junior year. And we upset them. And then we ended up winning. And then we ended up winning the city title. And then after that, we didn't lose to St. John's after that. So it was kind of a good thing. Good counsel was awesome. The people there are great. We had a lot of teachers, just a lot of staff that were just great. It was definitely a family feel there. I never felt ostracized, even though the first day I didn't know anybody. I knew one girl, like Mary. And you go to lunch and you walk into the lunchroom and it's everybody in the lunchroom, right? So you got, like, at the time, rest in peace, Omari Israel, but he's in there, he's running the school, he's like top 50 player in his class. I knew no one. So I like go to walk in, I look around, I see everybody, and I'm like, no. So I grab my lunch and I eat in the bathroom stall, like, for 2 days.
Yo, isn't that crazy looking back on it? All right, so like you got Kylie eating in the stall like first couple days of school, and now like her pictures of her like on the walls in the building, like her name's everywhere. It's such a crazy thing to think about, looking back, like from that first couple of days to start from there and then end up as like a legend in that same building,
It's crazy, man. Like I can just say I'm grateful and I'm thankful, and I'm just grateful that Coach Blaine wasn't like, yo, you got to go. Like, I'm talking about transferring every day. I'm saying it loud enough on the back of the bus so everybody can hear me. And he kind of just stayed patient and kind of trusted his own process, really. And it's crazy to kind of go through there and see like the banners and everything. Like, it's still surreal to me.
What was in keeping with the timeline? What was the first time you met Gino like? The first handshake.
I didn't really. So I went to Connecticut. Most of the reasons for, like, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Tamika Williams. Tamika's my favorite, and that's still my ace to this day. She's my big sister. So if anything happens career wise, she's the first call. Like, that's the homie right there. But it was really those guys, and I had a chance to meet them pretty early on. So I think the first time I met Diana was in like 6th grade. And wow. Diana, if you ever had a chance to meet Diana, she'll talk to you like she's known you for all your life. And you feel like you've been cool all your life. And so being on that Lady Panthers team, Monique Curry was around a lot. I don't know if Monique went to Bullis, Duke, WNBA.
Yeah, I know that name for sure.
So she was on a USA team.
I think she was number 4 at Duke.
Say again.
I think she wore number 4 because I remember being like, damn, that girl's nice because she was JJ's number. I don't know. I might be making that up, but that might
I
be
think
right.
she was 2'5". I think.
Oh, damn.
She might have been yeah, I think. But yeah, she made the USA team. She was really cool with our Lady Panthers head coach, and then he invited them all over for dinner, and so we kind of got to meet everybody at that time. So like Diana, Lori Moore, there was a bunch of like really talented college players that were there. And then since that moment, every time, UConn and Georgetown in the Big East, so every time UConn came to town, I was at the game. Like no matter what, I'm like, Coach, we gotta make practice earlier because I gotta go to Georgetown. I gotta catch the game. And every time I either right after the game, she would notice me and come over, or I'd be at the bus and she would always make time to come out and just dap me up, speak to me, kind of encourage me, and just kind of show love. And even still to this day, she kind of does the same thing. So I have the utmost respect for Diana. And her, like I said, her, Tamika, and Sue were big reasons for me going to Connecticut.
Those are some big names.
All right. What do you say?
Just throwing
Those are some big names, man. Like, of course. Of course that's why you went to Connecticut. Right. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Who needs recruiting when you got that kind of a background? Like,
yeah, it's tough. Like you go to Midnight Madness and Diana's there, Sue's there, all these cats are there, and you're like, wow. Yeah, like, this is crazy. How do you say no?
So then, walk me through like senior year of high school then, before we get into college. And I want to save time like going overseas because a decade overseas is just incredible. I want to know about every place, and I want to. But talk to me about that senior year. What was that like? Getting recruited by so many schools, like having to figure out, like keep your head on straight, right?
Yeah.
Not let it all get to your head. What was that like?
Well, the crazy thing, it kind of started. I kind of got my first offer in 6th grade. I was from UVA. My brother went to UVA.
Well, hold on.
So what does that even mean?
You started playing.
Was it like a document? Was it like a piece of paper? Like, what does that even mean?
No, it's crazy. So always have love for Debbie Ryan. My brother went to UVA, so he was moving in, and I went to basketball camp, and the coaches were kind of like, "Who are you?" And then they kind of met my mom, and the coach kind of saved my mom's life. So she noticed like a goiter on my mom's neck, and she was like, I think you have a thyroid issue. Like, you need to go to the doctor and get that checked out. And next thing you know, like not too long after, my mom had to go get surgery, had the goiter removed because she had like hypothyroidism. Like, it was a huge thing. So that was amazing. It was a blessing. But yes, UVA was my first offer because I got to play in camp there, and I was just kind of in front of them in 6th grade. And then 8th grade, I was the second 8th grader to go to Adidas top 10 camp. And then from there, it kind of like everything kind of went crazy. That kind of helped me get out of the bathroom stall at Good Counsel, because I was in Slam magazine and Omari Israel saw it. And he was like, look, anybody give you problems?
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. Anything you need.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then you jump to junior year and they can flood your inbox with all this mail. And then obviously I didn't make any decisions. Like, I was going to try and take visits and whatnot. And then you get to senior year. So we just came off winning the WCAC. We came off winning the city title. And then of course, at that point, it's just like pressure, right? You're like, man, it was great because we upset everybody. It was supposed to be St. John's or McNamara because you still had Marissa and Brittany, and then you had Iman at McNamara. And then it was just, we got to win it. And I just became kind of obsessed with winning it. So like the college process wasn't, it was difficult because you got coaches hitting you up in class. You got coaches hitting you up. Sidekick just came out. So Jokers is on AOL Instant Messenger. Like,
I didn't even think about that. Like hitting you up in class. That's another, like, talk about procrastination. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're grateful because somebody wants you, right?
Right.
But it was like it was a lot. It was a lot. But my biggest thing was like I just want to win. The process will kind of take care of itself. And it was funny because in the spring, going into my senior year, I was like, Mom, I want to go to Maryland. Like I said, Marissa and I were basically sisters. She committed to Maryland. And I had been up there almost every week. I know schools literally stopped recruiting me because they were like, I saw you on the Under the Shell TV show and I figured you committed and just didn't tell me. And I was like, no, I hadn't committed. And my mom throughout the whole time, you should just go to Maryland. It's right here. Your friends are there, blah, 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 blah. So then I'm like, in spring, Mom, I want to go to Maryland. She's like, wait and take your visits. And I'm like, what? And so then fall comes and I took a visit to UVA, Ohio State, because I'm a big Ohio State football fan, and Connecticut, and Maryland, obviously Maryland. And then I got to Connecticut, and it was like, it was insane. Midnight Madness, the place was packed out. People have signs with your name. People got pictures of your face on their shirt. Like it's they know everything about you. It's the atmosphere is crazy. And then of course you got Diana and Sue pulling up. And you can't. And then coach is like, okay, we win championships here. What are you trying to do? What are you, what are you supposed to? You're supposed to say no to that. So that's kind of the process at Connecticut. But during high school, it was more so about just winning. And then you have coaches coming to your school, and I think that's Coach Aryema came to school, and I didn't realize how big he was until teachers were like, Kylie, can you introduce me to him?
Right.
Him?
Man, walking those halls after he pulls up looking for you. Oh my God. I feel like I'm walking on 2-foot stilts above everybody else. Do that. That's crazy.
No, man, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, I'm gonna just take you around school, and you can eat some lunch. He's probably not eating what we're eating, but if you want to grab lunch, grab some lunch. But yeah, I was like, I didn't realize the magnitude of him being there until the teachers were like, wow, like when I was back, with Mac at Good Counsel, they're like, man, I remember when you brought Gino through the halls and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, wow. Yeah, it's a crazy experience. So then
let's fast forward. Talk to me about college. What was that experience like? Because you got 2 championships, right? Undefeated seasons. I'm curious what goes through your head, but I'm also curious, like, what was the environment in the locker room when you were undefeated going into like the next game, right? Are people worried about the record, or are they just trying to win the next game?
You know what? Like the first so my freshman year, I only lost six total games in college. So my freshman year, we lost 4.
Whatever.
Just casual.
Just 6.
206. That's it.
It's all good.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. No, we lost 4 my freshman year, and we lost in the Elite 8 to LSU and Sylvia Fowles. And it was like the end of the world. Literally, I don't think we probably didn't see each other for like a week straight. And it was just like the end days. Like it was the worst time ever. And then next year we get Maya, right? So it's like, ooh, she's good.
And it's all over from there.
So we get Maya. She's insane. And then our chemistry was insane. It was as if we had played with each other for years. And her stepping on campus was the first time I played with her. So it was the chemistry was magical, and it was a lot of fun. And then junior and senior year. So junior year we had Elena Deladon. She was the next giant to come junior year. And then she left because she wanted to her sister has multiple disabilities.
Yeah, so that's unbelievably inspiring story. Her whole life story. Ellen Deladon is insane.
It's unreal. So
yeah, she's incredible.
She left. Yeah.
Delaware, right?
Yep. She went to Delaware and honestly enrolled to play volleyball. And then the basketball coaches saw her and were like, "What? Wait, you're here now?" But she left, and I honestly think if we would have had Elena, I don't even know. But she left, and I truly believe that brought us closer together. Mm-hmm. And at that point on, we were inseparable. We were always together, playing games together, flipping the game over if we think we about to lose. We were all rock band. We were just always together. And then that camaraderie, I feel like that camaraderie off the court kind of carried on the court. And no matter what, nothing was going to get in between us winning a championship. And coach does a really, really good job of, even though you're winning 10, 20, 30 games in a row, you still feel every day like, yo, we got to get better. We got to get better. We are not good. Like, and he's a genius for that, because I mean he did it before. They went undefeated before, and then just kind of going through that season. I think that junior year, we won the championship, and everybody's just kind of in the locker room, and when it's like, man, we don't have practice tomorrow. Like, it's over. Like, it's crazy how that happened. And then we lose a big piece in Renee Montgomery and Tahira and Cassie. And then the next year, for us to be able to go in senior year and do it again, it was crazy. Now, senior year was different. Senior year, you could feel the tightness. It was tight because I think Connecticut had maybe 2 of the 3 longest streaks. And so now at this point, you're passing the Dianas, you're passing the Sues of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you guys are at 72, you beat the streak, and now you're starting to count in your head. Mm-hmm. And now it's like you're just trying to get games over with because you feel it creeping up. But like I said, coach again, mastermind. He had us, him and CD had us out kind of doing stuff, so we're not just in the hotel room watching ESPN. That was a big thing. Don't turn on, try and stay away from the media.
It's like that's all that was being talked about there now.
Try and stay away from the media, just try and do other things. And, I go back to our team chemistry. I think at that time, new Super Mario Brothers came out. You could have 4 players at one time on the Wii. So we were on the heavy.
In that.
We're still on Rock Band. So we just tried to do different things, kind of take our mind off basketball. And Stanford was up on us. It was the first time we trailed in a long time. And then, everything just kind of clicked in that second half. And I mean, just insane.
I hope ESPN or somebody does a documentary on it's luckily happens in year, but that span of I would say probably emphasizing Gino's career, but specifically that couple of years fragment is it's unbelievable. The players that were rolling through that locker room, including yourself, but
insane,
unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's come. I've heard that there's something in the works. So
I really hope so, because that would be so interesting to hear from all of those people that were involved during that time. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy how many generational talents came through. You got Diana, Sue, Tina, Stewie. I mean, Maya. It's insane.
Yeah. So then graduation hits.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's the next step? What's in your head? What happens? Walk me through that.
This is where it gets hard, man. So for me, kind of graduation, I believe was on the same day as my birthday. And then that was the same day I was told I couldn't play anymore because of my foot injury. So they were talking about trying to fuse my heel and something. And I'm like, I can't, I feel like I can't walk if that's the case. I'm now one leg's going to be longer than the other. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you would just kind of have to, he didn't say this, but you kind of have to thug it out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, my mom's like, look, go to coach, ask him to help you with the agent. And he hooked me up with Boris and Lachitsky. And then Boris got me a gig in Greece. And when you're overseas, man, they usually don't speak your language. And I was in a small city up north Greece. So they definitely didn't have people that spoke English. And you have so much time. You go to practice and then you're chilling the rest of the day. So, you got to learn, it's good to learn a routine. So I was like, I would wake up, go to the gym, do whatever cardio, lifting. Then I'd walk and go kind of do shooting on my own. Then I'd come back home, eat lunch, and then I go to practice, eat dinner, and then kind of go to bed or whatever, kick it with some of my teammates. And it was kind of rinse and repeat type cycle. And overseas is not for everybody. Right. It's a tough. You really gotta love ball, probably at an abnormal rate to kind of play overseas. And you learn Skype. At the time, it was Skype, but you got FaceTime and things like that now. So I kind of stayed in touch with family and friends there. But I think for me, it was a little bit more difficult because my friends, yes, they were overseas as well, but they were also in the league. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of you got that separation in that regard. So I was like, man, I'm alone, but then you kind of you kind of learn to kind of come out of it, because you don't ever have the experience that you have when you're in college. You get literally have like 10, 12, 13 built-in best friends, and
it's
you're
the
around
best
every single day.
It's the absolute best.
Like,
yeah, it's the best.
And you get, you're taken care of. You're on scholarship, so sometimes maybe you set your doctor's appointment, maybe you don't have to. Like, little things are just kind of prepared and taken care of you. So you got to learn to grow up pretty quick. So kind of shedding that, like, this isn't college anymore, was tough. And then not having somebody that I can just chat with like every second, because maybe my teammates don't speak English, even though I had one other American teammate. It was tough, but it was a great learning experience, and I think I needed that because I had to kind of get my confidence back after leaving school and being player of the year and playing against somebody that I look up to when I was younger. And Ruth Riley, she played at Notre Dame, kind of being able to play against her and like, if I can get a bucket against her, I'm good. So kind of getting that confidence up, and then playing well there kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of jump over to Israel. So
yeah. Can you like rifle off all the cities real quick?
Yeah, we got Greece, Israel for 3 years, Switzerland, Turkey, and Australia.
And you won a championship in Australia, right?
Yeah, so Australia, we kind of had a little bit of a super team. So we had Kelsey Griffin. She's from Alaska, played at Nebraska. She was drafted, I think, 3rd or 4th in her class. But she was an Australian citizen. So we basically we almost had like 5 Americans.
Yeah. That's good for you guys.
It's a little tweak.
That's great.
We had a squad.
That's great.
We had a squad, so it was awesome winning that championship. I mean, because when you have a team like that, everybody and everything is against you. So other teams are allowed to get away with other things against you. They can foul a little bit more, foul a bit harder.
Yeah,
referees call it a little bit different because they feel like they gotta make the game fair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It had its challenges, but it was awesome.
So we only got a little bit of time left. I want to ask. We end every episode with just 5 like quick rapid fire questions. But before I get to that, I want to know a little bit about like the transition from player to coach. What was that like? Going like UMD, right? And then now you're at UCSB, but what was that initial transition like?
Yeah, so honestly, it was easy because I kind of didn't have a choice. So I was in Australia. Brenda Fries had reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have this non-coaching staff position. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this sounds awesome, but I'm balling right now, and I kind of want to see how much more."
And our team is amazing.
How far I can kind of go. And literally 4 days later, I break my leg, and so I call her back, and I'm like, "Hey, is this still open?" And she's like, "Of course, I was holding out for your answer." So it kind of was decided for me. And of course, you're like, okay, you get hurt, you rehab, and you go back. So that was the goal. So I'm at Maryland, a bunch of great players there, and I'm rehabbing, and I'm trying to get ready to go back. And Maryland's about to be a 1 seed. In my mind, they should have been a 1 seed. The committee got lucky. They got lucky COVID happened. But about to go to the tournament. I get called for jury duty. And then I'm racing to get back to Maryland to go to practice. And they're like, "Don't come. There's COVID-19 is shutting everything down." And I was like, "What?" And so my mom actually works for the CDC. So she works for the immunization program, but she's been a part of them for so long. She's on like the pandemic team. So like H1N1, she was a part of that. She's awesome. And so COVID happens, and she's like, "Yeah, you're not going anywhere. You're definitely not going overseas." So I'm like, well, looks like I'll be back at Maryland for another year. And one of the Maryland assistants, Shay Robinson, he's at Louisville now, worked with our head coach here, Bonnie Henriksen, when they were both at Kansas. And she reached out to him and said, "Hey, we need a post coach." He referred me. And like 3 or 4 days later, I got the job at Santa Barbara. And that's kind of how I ended up out here.
Wow.
So it was
Santa
like
Barbara. And for those who don't know, could you tell the audience what the mascot of your school is?
You said what?
Tell the audience what the mascot of your school is.
The Gauchos.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, be Gauchos.
It's one of the best ones in all the country.
Oh, I have not so great news.
It's leaving.
Changing it
to what?
Oh,
I don't know, and I don't even know if I was supposed to say that.
Well, you didn't give anything away. That's such a bummer.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to change to, but yeah, I don't think we're going to be the Gauchos.
That's heartbreaking.
That's tough.
Oh, I'm hurt. I'm so upset.
All right. We got some rapid fire questions, so try to answer as quick as possible.
Okay.
If you need a second to think about it too, we can give that to you. Matt can talk about the sword and his background if he wants to, but what is and you don't have to name names, but what is the craziest thing a coach has done during a game or practice in your career?
Ooh. I'm gonna try and keep it as PG as possible.
Oh, please.
So Coach Auriemma, I can't remember who we're playing. We're on the bench. Something happened, maybe a loose ball, and I just completely whiff on it. They get the ball, scoop it up, go to the other end. So he was like, "Man, you're so slow. They need a calendar to clock your ass in the timeout." And I was like, "All right, that was a good one." You know.
He probably has tons of those lined up.
He's probably got a full, like a desk full of
just waiting. All right. If you had to change one rule about basketball, what rule would it be and why?
College or in general?
In general, whatever's easiest for you.
I like 20. I think college should go to 24-second shot clock.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
Just to play faster.
Okay.
You got to learn to be a better decision maker.
Yeah, that's.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
If you won $100 million tomorrow, what would you do with it?
Well, obviously, I'm gonna make sure you guys get in your apparel line in stores. That's the first thing.
Yeah, you are investing a lot of money in us.
Hey, that's the first person to actually care about us for once with their $100 million.
That's all. That's the only reason why we asked that question.
Right, we're just waiting
just to see who's on our side.
That's number one.
Kylie, you made it. You made it.
Then make sure my family's taken care of. No more debts.
Yep.
You know, everybody has everything they kind of need. And then third, I'll probably take care of my church, make sure my church family's good because they've been awesome to me. And then I just try and give as much as possible. I love to give. Just want to make sure I always have the right heart when I'm giving, but I'm a big giver. So of course I'll make sure I'm good, but I got to take care of those in need as well.
Right.
Wait, I just found out about the Resvani motors. I need a Resvani tank. Y'all can look it up. It's crazy.
Okay.
Resvani motors. It's crazy.
There you go. Yeah, you're allowed to do one thing crazy. That's it. There you go.
Might as well. You got $100 million. Might as well. Yeah. All right, we're running out of time, so I want to cut this short. This is the last question. Mm-hmm. What is the best piece of advice that you've gotten in your life, basketball or life related?
Yeah, I mean, make sure you have a foundation. I think when you know who you are, everything changes. Your life kind of changes. Your life kind of takes off in an upward trajectory, and usually in the way that you want to go. And I know my foundation is my relationship with Christ. It may not be yours, but just make sure it's stable and it's something that you can build upon. And I think if you have that, kind of the sky's the limit for you.